picking sides, your side, my side, their side. How about our side together? Let's raise things to the power of us. That's our topic on this episode of the Educators Among Us podcast.
Welcome to the Educators Among Us podcast, where we share motivational messages and inspiring stories for and about educators. Your host, Scott Barron, is author of the critically acclaimed book, Love 'Em and Lead 'Em, and provides powerful insights and wisdom for those who heed the call to teach, coach, lead, and serve at all levels of education.
Whose side are you on? That's a question that we sometimes get asked. Is maybe we are involved in an argument at home or at work or in some other place. But people, we have to figure this out. I need to know: are you on my side? Or are you on their side? Right? And that language is something that we have to pay attention to, because sometimes that can become a habit or even infectious in our culture. And as educators, we know there's a risk in that. And I'm thrilled that you're here as a part of the Educators Among Us podcast, as we get to share insights and stories and perspective, especially perspective. That's one of our favorites, right? For those who serve in different types of schools and at different levels, all throughout different size organizations. We have some people who listen to this podcast who are running schools out in the middle of very rural areas in different countries, and some are in very urban areas, and all different size schools, different types of schools, day schools, boarding schools, private schools, public schools, colleges, universities, preschool, right? The full genre of education, and that's our privilege. And what we do through School Growth, which is our consulting company that works with schools, as well as Educators Fellowship, our not-for-profit. We love educators. We love seeing them find a pathway where they get to not only practice their incredible gifting to teach and to be a part of the lives of other people, but they get to do it in a way that finds joy. That actually is in high performing organizations, and just to know that someone is here, someone cares, someone understands what they're going through, and is able to maybe provide some thoughts and some words of encouragement and direction. That's why we're here. And so we're thankful that you're a part of this and can be a part of the story of Educators Among Us. And so, what we've noticed about schools is that the best schools have a language. They have a language that bonds them together. And sometimes it's friendship, but often it's a team. It's a team that comes together, and they bring their different gifts into a cohesive group of people that are progressively able to ask harder questions and think together and begin to meet the needs of their students in far more powerful ways. And that's such a beautiful thing to witness, and to be a part of people and educators who are committed to that level of work together. The fellowship of true friends who can hear you out, share your joys, help carry your burdens, and correctly counsel you is priceless. That's Ezra Taft Benson. And it's true, right? If we have people who believe in us and are willing to walk the journey with us, and we look out for each other, and we make each other better, right? That's a powerful experience. And it is not only possible among educators in schools, we've seen it. We've seen it at work, and we've seen the life-changing impact that it has on the educators as well as the students. Now, I will tell you that it requires a very high level of ability to communicate. There's a commitment to the disciplines of communication in these organizations. And the interesting thing is the ability to effectively communicate. It remains a strangely elusive commitment and skill set, despite the outsized impact on the ability to deliver authentic excellence. You can talk about excellence all you want to as an educator, as a school, but if you are not able to, as a team, be able to communicate, to make sure that there's no secrets, no surprises, that we are helping each other grow, excellence will remain quite elusive, right? Language affects every aspect of life. And the lack of shared language is a very significant factor for inefficiency in schools and requires suffering through avoidable conflict. We actually pick fights with each because of a lack of discipline around communication. Listen, schoolwork is hard enough without having internal battles that are just unnecessary, right? The words that we regularly use are powerfully indicative of our organization's culture. And you can hear it, us and them, yours and ours. Are we united in purpose as allies, or are we mired in battle? Right? Are we on the same team? Are we working towards the same goals, or is this sort of every man for himself, and we're all sort of siloed in these concrete enforced bunkers called classrooms that we sometimes communicate, sometimes don't. Sometimes we share, sometimes we don't. And there's this unpredictability that creates a lack of safety and growth for a lot of people. Right? If you are really thankful, what do? Well, you share. Right? This is the point from Clement Stone. Right? You share. Because you realize that in that humility, you want to share that with other people, right? You don't want to withhold that. You want to make sure that we're elevating the team. You see, when trust is present, our tone and phrasing have recognizable characteristics, right? Because we know that trust is the oxygen of the school ecosystem. We have to deal with conflict. We have to love our students and each other through all the different aspects of life, right? But assumptions about meaning and intent are positive, right? In a healthy organization, we assume the best of each other. We're looking out for each other, right? And that trust enables us to feel safe, to take risks, to innovate, to express concerns, right? We always have issues. We always have things that get in the way. And if we're not able to talk about those, frankly, then we can't solve the issues. We can't move forward as a learning organization, which is a distinct advantage for schools. Conversations in these types of healthy organizations, they reflect mutual respect. There's deeper thinking. Right? There's the ability to consider options that aren't on the table when we're mired in conflict. When we trust each other, we're able to think together, right? And with a higher purpose in mind. It's a game changer, right? The work gets done with less friction and greater productivity because we, as colleagues, are more likely to share resources and data with each other in highly constructive ways. We just get it done at a higher level. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. That's Philippians 2:4. You see, education at its best is a model of teamwork with responsibility shared responsibly. There is no, well, that's not my job. You would never hear that in a healthy organization. You don't hear people gossiping about each other or talking in toxic ways, right? Instead, these educators recognize that we set the pace as faithful companions who listen to each other, who celebrate victories, who help carry each other's burdens and provide wise counsel. That, my friends, is truly priceless. Right? We need each other. We need each other badly because teamwork is a prerequisite to reach excellence. And it is exclusively experienced by those who combine their talent, their work ethic, and humility. They come at this with a curiosity, a willingness, an openness to grow. Right? When we're raised to the power of us, life-changing, exponential blessings are seen. Right? That's the challenge. When we're raised to the power of us. Right? So may your fellowship multiply this week, my friend, as you share your incredible talents as a team, because teams are far more capable of achieving remarkable results. You need the people on the team. You bring different strengths. There is no well-rounded person. There's only well-rounded teams. And when we learn to trust each other, to build on each other's strengths, to leverage each other's talents, remarkable excellence is actually possible, right? And the experience of teamwork, right? It's memorable. If you've ever been part of a team, I mean a deeply connected, trusting team, you'll never forget it. I've had that privilege, and it's so energizing. It challenges us to be better, and we look out for each other, and there's a joy that we run into challenges, no doubt about it, and we sometimes have conflict, but we still stick together. There's a cohesiveness, right, that enables us to resolve conflict and move on because we love each other. And it's exciting. It's hard work, but boy, is it worth it? And I hope that you're able to experience that on your campus, and that there are different things that you can do. We've seen sometimes that's triggered just through a leadership retreat together, some other aspects that can happen, but it requires a conscious decision. And conscious decision to establish a language together. That language of excellence brings us together, creating a set of values that we agree to, and then we hold each other accountable for those results. Hey, a coaching question to ask yourself at the end of each day: did I do my best to multiply teamwork today? Did I do my best to multiply teamwork today? Love him and lead him, my friend. This is Scott.
Thank you for joining us for the Educators Among Us podcast and for your courageous commitment to this noble calling. We get you and the challenges of this work. To stay connected with this community, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and weekly encouragement at educatorsamongus.com.